Good morning dear students. Now welcome back to today's class. We are going to cover today about commerce, the functions of commerce and about the types of commerce, that what are the types of commerce we have. But before moving on to today's topic, I'll just give you a quick recap of what we have done yesterday. So see, yesterday we covered classification of business activities. In that classification, we came to know that how many types of business activities are there, where we saw that the major business activities are of two types. The first one is the industry and the second one is the commerce. Fine. In the industry, it is further classified as primary, secondary and tertiary industry, where the primary industry's main job is to manufacture, means either they extract or they manufacture. So there are further two types, extractive and genetic. So their main work is extracting. So oil refinery, coal, petroleum, all these fall under, then farming and everything fall under the primary one. Then secondary was that this again from the already one, you are again taking the input and then converting it into the final output. Means already an input is there, but you are making and converting them into the final output. In which we saw an example of the cotton one, same way the cement one. So we are collecting all the materials and then we are making them and compiling them into one final product. Here we also learned that the main units are manufacturing unit and construction unit. So they try to minimize the input and maximize the output. Means you will minimize your input and then maximize your output. We also further saw that the manufacturing units are of four types: the analytical, the synthetical, the processing and the assembly. So all these were your secondary industry. And last came the tertiary, where it was the summation of all the primary and the secondary, which is helping you either to transport or to communicate. So they are giving you a support system where both this primary and secondary industry can work well. Fine. I hope the industry part totally is understood. So today we move to commerce. So before moving to commerce, you just see that basically see the chart which we already covered yesterday, but see the second part of the chart. It is divided into two types, the trade and auxiliaries to trade. We will cover up both that part today. Trade can further be classified as internal and external, and internal trade can be further classified as wholesale retail. Fine. Then external trade can be further classified as import, export and entry port. Fine. And auxiliaries to trade can be further classified into five types. They are transport and communication, banking, warehousing, insurance and advertising. Fine. So today first let us begin commerce and try and understand what commerce is. So commerce is actually concerned with buying and selling and distribution of commodities, and it is an organized system for exchange of the goods and service in between the businessman and the customer. Try and understand. First, your main concern is buying and selling. You will buy the goods, you will sell the goods. Then you will distribute the commodities, but in a proper and organized system, because exchange of goods and services takes place in a system and it takes place between the businessman and the customers. So you will have to make it in a systematic and organized manner. This commerce means that you will buy and sell the goods and commodities in a systematic manner. Moving to the next slide, it is also concerned with marketing aspects of the business. Means supply the right type of good to the right person at the right time at the right place. See, there is a perfect timing, there is a perfect place, there are the perfect people whom you have to give the perfect goods. If you want to catch the market, you must be knowing what sort of demand the customer is asking from you. If you come to know about the taste and the preference of the customers, you will easily be able to target the right customer at the right point of time. If you know that there is a festive season coming up, so that is the right time for you. Say the right place is the proper market. If you go in between the proper where there is, this what do you call it, the city. So if you target the right people at the right time and you give them the right goods which they demand for, which they are looking for, then your marketing aspect is over. That means you have correctly marketed your business. So commerce includes all these things. Please remember, it includes both trades and Aidsto Trade. So it has two subparts. Trading. Now trading can be export, import, everything. You already know these words. Trade, then export, then import, then wholesale, then retail. These words are not new to you. Still, we will cover up all the aspects one by one. But Aidsto Trade means auxiliaries to trade, which are giving you the support system to do the trade properly. The trade cannot be done without the Aidsto Trade. Okay, so before moving on, just see the definition of commerce first. It means this in one mark, if 1 mark question comes, you simply give the definition of commerce as the sum total of all those activities which are involved in the removal of the hindrances in the process of exchange of goods. Means when we try to exchange the goods, so there are some hindrances. Hindrances means obstacles. So all these obstacles they will try to remove. So with those activities that you will try to remove these obstacles so that your exchange of goods can be done easily, that part is what is commerce. I repeat again, the sum total of all the activities where you will try to remove all the hindrances or obstacles so that you can have smooth exchange of goods and services is what is commerce. So before moving to the types, let us first cover what are the functions of commerce. This is not there in your book. I have made it extra. You please jot down the points properly. We have around 6 functions of commerce. So the first one is removal of hindrance of person. It means commerce main function is to remove the obstacle of person. It refers to lack of contact between the producers and the customers. See, for all the products, we directly do not go to the producers. We have middlemen. Middlemen are there to provide us the goods and services. So commerce is helping us to remove that. Means it refers to there is lack of contact. You don't go and contact the producer directly. So commerce is helping you in doing that. Here the traders act as an intermediary amongst the customers and are able to find out the product where they are wanted and from where they will give, to which market they will give. So there are traders, middlemen, who go and roam about in the market and deliver the products to the customer who need them. So the producers are at one place and the consumers are at the other place. So these people are, removing the hindrances. The customers cannot go to the producers directly. The producers cannot go to the customers directly. So the middlemen are there to, remove this hindrance and then deliver the product to the customers. So this is what is removal of hindrance of person. Moving to the second point, we have removal of hindrance of place. Again, the producers are at one place, the customers are at the different place. So the commodities have to be transferred from one place to another. So this can be done with the help of what? This can be done with the help of transport, packaging, everything. So again, commerce is coming into place. Commerce is removing this hindrance also. It is helping us to transport the goods from one place to another. There are railways, waterways, airways. Through all these modes, you can easily transport the goods and services from one place to another. So see, producers and customers are in a distant place. One place is the producers, the other place is the customers. So they both are at a different places. Hence, the commodity should be transferred from the production centers to the customer center. Because all the products are not manufactured at one place. It has to be scattered to all the places. So this problem can be solved by the help of commerce. One means which is transport, packaging and insurance. When you transport the goods, when you pack the goods, when you insure your goods, then these hindrances are removed. And the removal of hindrance of risk means goods and properties of the business are subject to various risks such as risk to fire, risk to theft, risk to damage. So there are a lot of risks. Maybe there is a fire, there is some theft, or there is some damage to the products, there may be earthquakes. So if you insure your products, if you keep your products insured, then you will not face any difficulty. So this is another function of commerce which remove the hindrance of risk. That if you keep paying your premiums, then if that theft occurs or fire occurs, then the insurance company is going to compensate you for that. So insurance is a way where you can protect your goods and services. So this is another function of covering up the risk. The fourth function is removal of hindrance of time. Sometimes there may be a gap between the production and the consumption. Production is done at one place, but consumption is done at a different place. So it takes time from the place of consumption to reach the goods to the place of, from the place of production to reach the place of consumption. So there may be a gap between the production and the consumption as the production is carried out in an anticipation way of future demands. Means sometimes we know that in future people will demand that. So we always try to manufacture beforehand, before the demand. We try to capture the market before. So therefore it becomes necessary to store the goods until they are stored. So it has to be stored in a proper warehouse. So this problem can be solved by again another trade. I told you Aidsto Trade are all helping you to do the trade properly. So there is another Aidsto Trade called warehousing. Through the help of warehousing, granaries are there, proper silos are there where you can store your goods and services. So all those goods can be stored in that places. Obviously services cannot be stored. So only goods can be stored, and at the time of demand, at the time of future demand, it could be delivered to the persons because immediately it cannot be manufactured. So commerce is again helping you to remove the hindrance of time. Moving to the next point, we have removal of hindrance of knowledge. Knowledge means what? Sometimes the customers, either they know a lot about the products, or sometimes they don't know about the product. So if you communicate, if you advertise the product, then the customers will be able to know about the product. So see, knowledge of the customers about the product and service offered by the business organization is a major problem in the business. Sometimes the business organization fail to deliver the proper knowledge to the customers. So if the customers are not having that knowledge, they will not be able to, get attracted to the product. So advertising helps us in removing these hindrances, because they try to engage that knowledge among the buyers that, okay, this is the quality of the product, these are the features of the product, and the customers and the buyers get attracted and they try to buy it. So this is the fifth point where the commerce is helping to remove the hindrance of knowledge. Moving to the last point, removal of hindrance of finance. Sometimes we don't have a lot of money, handy money with us. So the problem of finance can be handled with the banks, can be handled with the money lenders. So it will help the businessman in exchange of the money between different persons and at different places. See, we all are people, human, we all have our accounts in the bank. So what we do, when we have the extra money, we go and deposit that in the bank. And the bank, after taking the deposit from those who have it in extra, give it to those who need the money. They lend the money to the borrowers. And at the end, our money is going to someone who will make productive use of it. So it is exchanging the goods, money between one person to another. So it is again removing the hindrance of finance. So these were your 6 functions of commerce. I just say it again: removal of hindrance of person, removal of hindrance of place, removal of hindrance of risk, removal of hindrance of time, removal of hindrance of knowledge, and last, removal of hindrance of finance. So your functions of commerce, I hope, is very clear. Now let's move to the second part, trade. Today we will cover trade. So before moving on to types of trade, let us see what trade actually means. So buying and selling of the goods, which involves an exchange of the commodities for money or money's worth. You will buy and exchange the goods, and you will get money in exchange of those goods, or some money values, say maybe jewelry or any commodity. So earlier, there was a system called barter system, where exchange of the goods was taking place in the place of goods. But then we faced a lot of problem in the barter system, so money came into use. So buying and selling of the goods. Types of trade means home trade and foreign trade. There are 2 types of trade. One is the home trade and the other one is the foreign trade. See the home trade. Home trade means it is also known as a domestic trade or internal trade, where you are buying and selling the goods within the country itself. That means both the buyer and the seller are among the same nation. Say one buyer from India, Mumbai, is buying the goods from the other buyer from India in Kochi. So this is an exchange which is internal. That means happening only in one country. They are buying and selling the goods in a country where both the buyers and the sellers are in the same country. So this is what is home trade or domestic trade. You can also call it as domestic trade. The second part is that home trade can be further subdivided into wholesale and retail. All these words are very common to you. So wholesale and retail are the 2 types of home trade. See the first one, wholesale, where you buy and sell the goods in bulk quantities, means large quantities. That is what is wholesale. See all these big bazaars, Big Mart, V Mart, Daily Bazaar, all these doing what? They buy and sell the goods in large quantities. So they directly approach the producers, they buy it from them in a large quantities and store them in their silos and granaries and in the places in their factories, and then they try and sell those in the market. So this is where they can earn a lot of margin, because when they directly contact the producers, they buy the goods in large quantities, they get a lot of discount. That discount is known as trade discount. Please note that for yourself. It will help you in future. These discounts are known as trade discounts. So when the person buy in huge quantity, it is known as wholesale trade. So wholesaler buys goods directly from the producers, but they sell them to the retailers. And sometimes they also sell them to the direct customers. Example, Big Bazaar and all. So wholesale trade, they get in large quantities at a very less price and they try and capture the market. Moving to the second part is retail trade, where you go and buy all the things from the normal shops that are there in your lanes. So buying and selling of the good even in small quantities. If you want to buy 1 kg of sugars, you can easily get that from the retail shop. So that is what is retail. You are buying in loose. You're going and buying 1 pen out of the 5 pack, that packet of 5 pens. So that 1 pen is a loose pen. So that is what is retail trade, where you can buy as much as what you want. Understood? So retail trade means buying goods from the wholesalers and selling them to the customers. This is the job of the retailer. They also earn a lot of margin because they approach the wholesalers and keep them in their shops, and then they sell the goods one by one. So this is what is retail. Now moving to the types of foreign trade. See, foreign trade are further subdivided into three types: export, import, and entry port. I am sure you must be knowing what export and import is. Let's see the third one also along with these two. What is entry port? So the first one, that is export. But before moving to export, let's see what foreign trade actually means. It is also known as external trade or international trade. As see, the home trade was known as internal trade or domestic trade. I repeat, the home trade was known as internal or the domestic one. Same way, foreign trade is known as external trade or international trade, where the goods are being sold and purchased between two persons belonging to two different countries or two or more countries. One person may be in, suppose you're USA, the other person is in India. They are exchanging the goods and services among themselves. So this is what is your external trade or foreign trade. Now, foreign trade, the first type is export. As the name says, you just keep exporting the goods and service. Means you sell it to the foreign countries. Our India selling the goods to the foreign country will be known as export for us. And it will be known as import for them because they are purchasing from us. Same way, if we are, buying the goods from the other country, that means purchasing the goods from the foreign country, it will be import for us and export for them. See the two examples I am citing. Say for example, our India selling the goods, selling suppose your say gold or any other oil or any other particular product to USA. Then we are exporting. So for us it is a sale and that is why it is export for us. But they are purchasing. So for them it will be an import and hence they will be known as import. Same way, if we are buying something from the foreign country, it will be import for us and it will be an export for them. Third one is entry port. So here it means importing goods from one country for the purpose of exporting them to the other country. Means suppose India is buying the goods from England, but India is buying them to again export it to some other country, say China or say any other country. Please now let us boycott China. These slides were made earlier, so just boycott China. We are not going to buy and sell it to them. So suppose India buying the goods from England and selling it to Russia or say for example any other foreign nation, say Italy. So this means entry port, where you are importing the goods but for the purpose of exporting. Means you already know that you are buying them to again sell it to another nation. This is what is entry port. Understood? Now if I can sum up, then types of trade were of two types: home trade and foreign trade. Home trade was further of two types: wholesale and retail. Foreign trade was further divided into export, import and entry port. Understood? Now let's move on to aids to trade or auxiliaries to trade. So there are 5 types of aids to trade. Aids to trade means those activities which are helping you to do the trade smoothly. They are assisting the trade and that is why they are known as aids to trade. These 5 types of aids to trade are: the first one is transport and communication, the second one is banking, the third one is insurance, the fourth one is warehousing, and the fifth one is advertising. These 5 aspects help you to do the smooth trade amongst the different nations. So these are services which will help you to facilitate smooth movement. They will help you to cover the risk. They will help you to get the finance. They will help you to solve the problem of storage. All these functions will be covered by these aids to trade. So let's move to the first one, transport and communication. As the name says, usually production takes place in one place and consumption is taking place all over the country. So transport will help you to remove this hindrance as we covered, and they will help you with the various modes to scatter the goods from one place to another. And those various modes are roadways, railways, waterways. All these ways help you to transport the goods from one place to another. So we already know that transport helps a lot in transporting, making the goods available from one place to another. Moving to the second one, we have communication. So second auxiliaries to trade is communication. So along with transport, you also need to talk to the consumers, producers. So there must be some exchange of information taking place between the producers, traders and consumers. So now what are the ways through which you can communicate? They are postal services, telephones, all these means of communication, emails. So these are the ways through which you can communicate between one buyer and the other, or the one seller to other, and you can exchange your ideas over the telephones and postal services, and even sometimes goods with the help of postal services. You can send some postcards or send some gifts through postal service. So this is the second, this is the first one only. Transport and communication are side by side. The second one is banking and finance. So all the business concerns need funding. Every time the businessman doesn't have all the funds. Sometimes they need the funds to buy an asset, to buy raw materials, to meet the daily expenses. So finance means banks are going to help you in providing you the loan. And with that loan, you can either buy your asset, you can buy the raw materials, you can meet your daily expenses. So banking and finance is the second. See how banks helps the business. Bank accepts deposit from the public and provide the credit facilities for the business. See, banks, I told you, suppose you have extra money, so you go and deposit that money in the bank, and there are some persons who need the money, so bank will give them the money on credit to them. So they lend the monies. So there are overdrafts, there are current accounts. CC means current accounts, loans. Sometimes they also discount the bills, sometimes they collect the check, sometimes many remittances are there. All these words slowly and steadily you will understand both in the BST class as well as in your accountancy class. So don't worry, these words are some way connected to both these subjects. So banks ultimately help the needy people by giving them the money, loans in the form of loans, and they can carry on their business smoothly. The next one is insurance. Insurance provides protection against the risk. As I told you, there may be some accidents, there may be some fires, there may be some earthquake. Anyway, sometimes the goods in transit also damages. You are bringing the goods from place A to place B and it gets damaged. So when you do the insurance, when you cover up your risk, so by paying that premium, you cover up your risk, and then the company pays you the compensation. So see, on payment of a nominal amount called premium, you keep paying that premium. With the help of that small payment, you cover a huge loss, because then the insurance company is going to compensate you for the whole loss. So it is always better to have insurance. There may be a lot of insurance: marine insurance, fire insurance, life insurance. So same way you can insure your goods and services, factories, anything, so that you can cover up the problem of risk. Insurance will help you to cover the problem of loss and risk. Okay, moving to the fourth one is warehousing. After the production of the goods in bulk quantities, you need to ultimately store them for the future demands. So you should have proper granaries and silos where you can store the goods and services. So warehousing comes into that. Then warehousing comes and help you solve the problem, because you can keep the product for future. So it will help you to solve the problem of storage, and then you can supply the goods when people need it. So warehousing is another important Aidsto Trade. Moving to the last one, we have advertising. Advertising will help you to reach millions of customers for promoting the sales and giving information. If proper advertising is done, advertising could be done in various ways, not only in TV. You can also have hoardings. You can also go door to door to advertise your product. So ultimately, you have to reach millions of people. You can give it in the newspapers. So if you advertise about your goods and services, people will automatically come to know about the goods and services. So these were your 5 auxiliaries to trade, where you come to know about what this is. In simple language, that how do you help to trade. So these 5 things help you to do trade proper. I hope these things are clear. For today, we keep it here. Please try and follow. If you have any doubt, ask me. Jot down all the things in your notebooks, and we will cover up the next topic tomorrow. Thank you. Have a nice day.